Welcome to Cub Chat Live. This is a weekly show for Cub Scout families, new Cub Scout leaders, and anyone looking to make the youth-serving programs in the Boy Scouts of America, awesome. If you're listening to the audio version of today's show, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a thing. If you're watching live with us today, please comment along in the live chat and be sure to check out our audio version of the show wherever you listen to podcasts. Yes, we're a podcast too. Check it out. Okay, here we go. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Cub Chat Live. Yes, we are talking about Scoutbook today, which I think is many of our viewers, one of your favorite topics. So be sure to comment along with the show. You can watch past episodes of the show at the link that behind the scenes Brian is going to put up on screen. There it is. Perfect. And my smile is very genuine today because I am so excited to have our guest with us. We are with Ryan Larson, who is a project manager for Scoutbook. So he's a guy who can answer quite a few of your questions, and he has some really great information for us. But he's definitely like a true blue longtime friend of me, of behind the scenes Brian, of Aaron. So we are so pumped to have Ryan here. Hi, Ryan.
Hey, Gina. How you doing?
Good. Okay, we're talking about Scoutbook. It's a great tool. We know that. Some of our families are new, maybe have barely used Scoutbook. Some of our volunteers out there are like seasoned pros. What are we talking about today exactly?
We're just going to do Scoutbook 101 and share the features and make sure that everybody is acquainted with what is available to them and in that tool, because it's pretty robust. It's got a lot packed into it, and we want to make sure that users are taking full advantage of the resource.
Perfect. I think a 101 is exactly what we need. People are very into this topic. There are a lot of people watching right now, which is exciting. And we got a couple comments that I want to read already. Shout out to Troop 8 and Pack 38. Happy Friday to you guys. Chuck's got a really good specific question. And maybe we're going to get to this, but I'm going to read it now. I need my sponsor changed on Scoutbook. Council says he needs national to do it. Maybe we can shine some light on how that works. It sounds like, that probably is the case.
Yeah, there will be, I think for changing a sponsor, it's an admin role there to go and change that. Is the sponsor already changed? That I guess maybe we'll discuss that a little. That's a little bit into the weeds.
Chuck can follow up and with his answer, and we'll follow up with you, Chuck. Also, Rob, who's a regular viewer and a friend of the show, says Scoutbook's great for advancement tracking. Tony says that the Cub Master, he swears by Scoutbook. And hello to Pack 21. Okay, that's enough from me. Ryan, I want to hand it over to you. Let's learn about Scoutbook.
All right. So I like to say that I'm just not a Scoutbook project manager, but I'm also a client. I'm a former Scoutmaster, assistant Scoutmaster, committee chair, current, been in the venturing advisor role, and kind of like the hair club for men. That's back when I had more hair. So yeah, I'm also a client of this product. So I kind of understand a little bit of the pain points that folks have with it, but also how much it can be used as a tool. So let's get.
Oh, you're missing one thing here on this bio. You forgot that you were an extra special guest on Pod Ask.
I was, and I think that was probably the best Pod Ask that ever was created on the origins of bubblegum. So if you want to get into the minutia of bubblegum and really know, I would definitely recommend checking out that podcast. So the first thing is there's a lot of resources out there for help beyond just what we're going to cover today. So I wanted to make sure that folks knew of those, that going to the help.scoutbook.scouting.org website is a good resource. And then also the discussions forums area. You know, there are seasoned veterans that are on that platform that will go and answer your questions. And they do it really, really quick. It's not where you go and you post something and you're hoping for a week that somebody goes and pays attention to your question. No, folks are on there and monitoring that all the time. So I highly recommend you will be heard there. If you have a question or if you don't understand, or even if you have a recommendation, definitely go and post to that site.
So Chuck, that link's for you. I will put it in the comments, but discussions at .scouting.org and help.scoutbook.scouting.org. I'll put both those links in the comments. Check them out.
And then just for your if you're a leader and you're trying to point your parents to resources as well, this link that is going to be presented here on the slide here will also tell parents how to participate and invite their scout to participate in Scoutbook. So definitely would recommend doing that and kind of showing them those resources so your parents understand also the benefits and what they can do in the platform. So going on, if we could just advance the slide, logging in is just very, very similar to what you would do for My.Scouting or some of our other websites. You just use your My.Scouting username and password, and then you are able to go and jump into the system. I do want to note that you're going to see something, and this kind of causes a little bit of confusion. You'll see dates like a completion date and approval date. And one of the things that folks don't necessarily know is youth and adults can go and mark completion of requirements off for advancement. And that way that youth can go and track how they are progressing through the program. But they don't become official until an actual scout leader goes and approves it. So sometimes there's a little bit of confusion there, but it's almost like using your own scout handbook to mark your progress, say, check, I've done that, take it to a meeting, and then have somebody go and sign off on it. So I want to make sure that people are aware. We try to design it so it is used very, very similar to your scout handbook. When you log in, this is going to be a screen that you will see. You will just see an administration tab where if you don't see everything, you'll want to go and click that button. You'll see your scout or scouts if you have a number of youth that are in the program, and then they'll see the units that you are associated with. If you are wanting to go and edit your profile, you can go and click My Account, which is up there, which is right below the administration link tab there. We'll go and click advance the slide a little bit, and then you'll see it. Yep. So that is where you're going to edit your contact info. And it's really important that you encourage folks to go and check what is listed there on their profile. Make sure all their information is correct. So the communication pieces, not just, for your unit are going out properly through Scoutbook, but also so any communication that's coming out from national or the local council is going to the right place as well, because it's feeding into the same database, which is a benefit of the program. Now, when you click that, if you can advance the slide, you're going to notice it's a little bit of a different user experience. And what we are in the middle of doing is we are migrating Scoutbook to a platform called Internet Advancement. And for all those that are not necessarily technically have a lot of technical prowess. Essentially, this is more up-to-date technology. Developers are more familiar with working in the platform that this Internet Advancement resides. The Scoutbook technology is a little bit old and dated, and so this is where we are going. And some people get a little bit concerned. Well, does that mean Scoutbook is going away? No, it's getting migrated over to this platform, Internet Advancement, and then we'll go and rebrand it. We haven't rebranded it just yet because really what we're doing is really focusing on the migrating the current features over to Internet Advancement. We do some enhancements on the way, but not very many because we want to make sure that we get Scoutbook, retired in its current form and then over to Internet Advancement. And then that is when we will start to tackle some of the enhancements. But I am going to note a couple of enhancements that are in Internet Advancement already. But this is where you would update your profile and get your information in current. And if you should see everything that you would see in My.Scouting there as well. Now, most leaders are wanting to work with their unit. All right, so you're going to click your unit. And then when you click it, you're going to see the area where you've got dens or patrols. You're going to be able to, if you see a den that's not created there yet, you have an area to go and add a den and then assign youth to it. Obviously, this looks a little bit different for troops versus Cub Scouts. So right now, what we're showing on the screen is just the Cub Scout version. So if you're over on the troop side, you would be seeing, patrols in those areas. When you move on and actually maybe click within one of those dens, you'll see who the assigned leader is over on the left, and if there's somebody that you need to go and assign as a leader for the particular, let's just call it subunit, you would click there, and you can go and add them, and they need to be in the in your unit to go and add them into that particular role. And then you can also see individual scouts that are associated with that particular subunit. And again, if you don't have a youth that it should be in there, and perhaps they're not assigned to a subunit just yet, you can click that button and add new scout and get them associated with that subunit. Now, I will say it's really important to get youth assigned to the correct subunit, particularly in the Cub Scout rank, because those dens associate, with their actual program. And what we're going to be doing is in the internet advancement, actually marking advancement down. We want to make sure that the youth are earning the correct advancement that they should be earning. So no Wolf Scouts earning Tiger ranks or vice versa, because it's age-based there. And so it's really important that you go and you assign them to the proper subunit. Let's keep moving on. I will say that you can, it's important over on the Cub Scout side that when the program year is over, that you advance them up to the next program level. Again, that relates to what advancement that is displayed and that they would be working on. And that's why you see that edit den button down there below for those to go and advance den to the next rank or program. Moving on, one other item that you will see there is you can send a message through Scoutbook to those that are in the subunit. Very, very, very easy. And then you'll also notice a quick entry area. And when I first was using this product, believe it or not, I was doing the advancement one by one on each youth. And then as I got further along in the program, realized that there was this quick entry feature. And if you click that, Brian, you will see some of the items that you can go in quick entry for the youth that are in your den. So you can enter rank requirements for everybody, not just go one by one. Adventures. There's also a thing called payment logs, which you can go and track the dues accounting for those that are in your unit. And it's a really, really good feature if you want to go and edit individuals in bulk.
I don't want to slow you down too much, but I have a question on the slide, like back where you said you can send a message. How does that send a message? Where does is it within the, program, or?
It sends it. Well, so we have it sends it within the program. Okay. Essentially it's not like coming from you. It's coming from Scoutbook. Okay. And then it sends to everybody within the den that's why I'm saying it's really important to get the proper emails and everybody having their information correct. So when it sends a message, it's going to go to everybody's inbox that's associated with that particular subunit. And it essentially is going to say, from Scoutbook, you put a title in it that's scouting related, so people don't think it's spam or anything like that. And then it gets, and that's essentially, it's like, it's almost like an internal server for sending out that email to users and those in the subunit.
I think that's helpful.
And you can also do send a message to the entire unit. So there's a send message feature there, and you can subdivide the group that you're sending it to. So maybe you want to just send it just to parents, or maybe just send it to leaders or something like that. It gives you that ability, and it will go. And like I said, it goes to everybody who is registered within your unit.
Very good. Thanks for that clarification. We have some really good questions coming in, but I'm going to hold them because I think that they're going to come up in the next few slides. So
Okay.
please carry on.
We'll continue moving on. So I just wanted to go and share again here that quick entry, if you were utilizing that for ranks. So essentially, you see all the youth that are displayed below that are in the, well, that it's looking at it from a, they're at the den level. So you see the youth that are in that den, and you are able to go and mark off, okay, say 1A, Call of the Wild adventure for everybody, rather than having to mark each individual person individually. And then you can see that date completed item, and then that's where that leader approves. So if you're the leader, you mark that, and that is essentially saying that that is a certified, it's done, that requirement has been completed. And then we'll get into it a little bit later. It will go into a needs purchasing, meaning a report that you utilize to take to your local scout shop, although we also have online ordering as well to get the advancement items that you go and need. So that is what I like to share. There is some people get a little bit hung up on the versioning, and I just want to say what you should be doing is utilizing the version that is current for you really shouldn't be using past versions unless you've started it and the expiration date you haven't gone past the expiration date. Maybe gone past the expiration date, but you completed requirements and you still need to do some bookkeeping. That's why we kind of keep those versions open. So you're like, okay, yeah, you completed that before that version expired. But really, for those folks utilizing this tool, you should, on average, pretty much be working with the current version. And that's the one that's at the top. Okay, let's keep going. So what you also see is basically on your dashboard here for your unit. You can see your troop roster, which will give you the ability to see everyone in the unit. We already alluded to that send message item, and that is where you could go and send that message to your entire unit, leaders, parents. Then you have the other area where you can do the credit of multiple scouts, which we've kind of gone over. In our unit reporting, if you have a question and need a report, we have a report for it. Okay, so lots of reports there for you to go and mine and look at data for your different youth in your unit. So I don't want to necessarily belabor all of the reports that are in there. I would just encourage folks to run a couple and see all the data that you're able to go and see on the youth as it relates to their scouting progress. And then one other item is, editing the troop. And I just wanted to highlight you want to make sure if you're a leader that your time zone is correct, because reminders and calendar events that display on this key off of that time zone, and you want to make sure that time zone is correct for your unit, and that's why that is there. So make sure you just take a look and check that out.
I'll also say, to piggyback on something that you just said about, just go in there and run the reports, see what data is there, what information you can gather. I would say if you're watching this, you should have Scoutbook open in another tab, or as soon as today's episode ends, go into Scoutbook, because it's all going to make sense probably as we're walking through it. But the way to really keep that in your brain is to get in there hands on and try it yourself. I feel if you try to wait weeks before you go in there and look at this, you're going to lose some knowledge. So even if you don't have time today, bookmark this episode, keep it handy, because I think it could be a big asset. Okay, back to you, Ryan.
And another thing is there's so much in there. I kind of tell folks it's like Disneyland. It's really hard to go to Disneyland and ride every ride in a day. Even for me, sometimes I get a little bit surprised at some functionality that I wasn't necessarily aware of is present in Scoutbook. So again, that's why I try to have people go to the forums and talk with other users of the product to gain additional knowledge, because it's a lot there for sure.
I have a question for you from Luke. I don't know that we're going to necessarily get to it in the rest of the presentation, so I want to call it out here. He's saying, how does he get someone that's no longer a den chief out of Scoutbook? Is that something that should be taken care of at the troop level?
No, you can, you're able to go and go into that individual and remove the position from him. So there's if you, I actually have it on the screen that Brian was just showing. You would remove the position from, it's the next screen. Brian, if you could go and display it. Yeah, so if you were to go and click an individual there, hit forward a couple more times, just one or two. Another, there, stop. So you would click a name on that scout, and then you would go and remove them, remove that position, the den chief position, from them, and that would remove them from that position within the troop. On the troop level, on the pack level, the pack is basically whether accepting that den chief and whether they are assigning them to a particular subunit or den. I'd have to kind of walk them through the actual process of what it looks like on the pack side, and that also might be a little bit too much in the weeds. But if you go into the forums and say, how do I, get rid of a den chief, you're going to find the full steps to go and do so.
Yeah, again, we have a link to that forum in the comments, so you can click into there, Luke, and get a little bit more information. And Jeremy just asked a question, which, Jeremy, stay tuned as Ryan talks through this next part. I think it's going to answer your question.
Okay. So over on the left, that is where you can go and change the functional roles. So you'll see the actual positions. We call positions like Scoutmaster or Cub Master or Den Leader. But we also have like functional roles that you could like say give to a committee member where they don't necessarily have the rights to do much in Scoutbook unless you were to go and give them what we would call like a pack admin role, which would allow them to do some additional editing of individuals and look at different things that they wouldn't otherwise see as a committee member. Also have something like den admin. So maybe there's a committee member that is working with a particular den, but they're not the den leader. So you would you would give them that den admin role, and then you would assign them that particular den, and then that would give them certain abilities within the den to do like mark advancement and do different things. So I just wanted to go and give an idea on that. And again, when you're wanting to work with a particular scout, you just click on the name. In fact, actually, the next slide I think is a really good important piece that you really want to go and wait for when you have somebody registered, like say they have done the online registration or maybe they've got done a paper form. It's really best to wait for that processing to go, and then what will happen is you will see them automatically in your roster that we were just showing as a leader. As you can see, the unit leader, the committee chair, the charter organization rep, and advancement chairs, they're given like full rights within this program. But again, there's other roles that you can go and assign to people that give them some additional abilities as well. Say again that committee member that I was talking about, and then you give that when you give now if you have a den leader there, they will automatically have that den admin position or for a den. If you need a patrol admin, say you have an assistant scoutmaster that is working with a particular patrol, you would want to make sure that they were a patrol admin assigned to that particular patrol, so they have the connectivity to the scouts within that patrol. That's how you kind of set that up. And then again, it's unit treasurers have some role, but it's often easiest to make them a unit admin in Scoutbook, so they kind of have full control over all youth that join the unit. Okay, and if you have some, maybe you don't want to give, you just need a one-off or just one individual or one youth or something like that. There's something called the connection manager that you can scroll down to, and you can actually assign particular rights to individual youth if you need to do so. So this is a individual profile that we're looking at, and if you scroll down, and we call it tests, so that's our test, and you would go and select that youth advancement. I skipped ahead in terms of a slide there in terms of just you would mark that advancement, and then you could see where that date completed and leader approved area is. Now, if you're a parent or youth, you're not going to be able to fill in leader approved. You're not going to be able to go and do that. But again, you can go in and mark that date complete. And one of the features that I think that is really, 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 really cool, and my son actually uses it, is that he'll go and mark a requirement complete. So whenever he comes up to me and says, "Dad, I'm bored," I say, "Open up your Scout handbook. Okay, what's something that you can go and work on?" So he doesn't say he's bored anymore. But when he does, I ask him to go and check that Scout handbook, open it up, and he will work on a requirement. And he'll either take a photo of some evidence that he completed the requirement, or he does a video of himself with his iPad showing a square knot, and then he'll post a link to that video within where you see post note. And then as a leader, you can go and look at that, and you can say, okay, that scouting youth completed that requirement. I see the advancement right there, and you can mark it approved. And it's really, really, really cool, because that means all that advancement isn't necessarily happening at the unit level, but it can also occur in home. As a parent, I can be part of the process, kind of work together. I think it's a good excuse to spend quality time with one another working on something that's constructive. So please share with those in your unit that this is available to them, and they don't have to rely on the unit going over knot tying, okay, for their youth to go and complete some knot tying requirement. This is a way that they could go and do that and continue their advancement. And so you're able to kind of maintain it at a Scout pace. Let's see here. Yep, Gina,
I do. You read my mind. As we go into this next section, I wanted to bring up a question and see if I think you're going to kind of address it, but just in case, we had a good calendar question here. Can you make it possible to delete the calendar events on Scoutbook and delete Den Leader application and the Den Leader application? So can you, Roberto?
I know where that's coming from.
Okay, good.
So, unfortunately, it is you are unable to delete events that were created in the Den Leader experience. Okay, those once you boom those events, they are present within your calendar, and the only way that you would be able to remove those events is basically edit them in the Den Leader app and maybe just put them in the past. That's the way the programmer was programmed and designed, and essentially it's a turnkey application to walk a Den Leader and Den through the advancement process all the way to the end. Well, sometimes there's some nuance to it, and folks within the Den Leader app, maybe they set up the meetings wrong or something like that. And really, one of the only recourses is either like put them in the past, or and I hate to say this, but you are going to need to maybe create a new Den, assign those scouts that were part of the old Den, move them over, and maybe restart the process over in the Den Leader experience that you might have missed, and do it that way. It's the way it was programmed, and I mean, there's a lot of advantages to it, but there also has this issue with it as well. So I think that's where.
Hey, at least we know. Thank you for that. And Everybody, keep those questions coming. We only have a few more minutes left, and we've got an exciting conclusion to this presentation. Don't worry, we'll get through all the slides. But if we don't get your question today, don't worry, we'll jump in the comments and answer, and we're going to give you some good resources here at the end to keep the conversation going.
So one of the things that we're working right now in terms of the migration is the event calendar. And right now you can go into Internet Advancement and you will see a calendar in there as well. What I'm showing here on the screen is the event calendar that you see in Scoutbook. They're both running off the same database, but we are working to migrate the calendar feature over into Internet Advancement. Some of the advantages to the Internet Advancement calendar is if you're not running, there's a, we'll get to it in the end, but I'll give you a preview. There's a Google extension that provides some additional capability within Scoutbook. And if you download that Google extension, and we'll have a link to go and do so at the end of this presentation, you unlock some additional features that are not in there and just here in the original programming. One of them was, or is recurring events. Well, over in the Internet Advancement side, we have that already there present in the user experience without having to use a Google extension. In fact, what we're doing is we're taking a lot of the Google extension over into Internet Advancement so that you're not having to run an extension to do different things. But for the new calendar, you're going to be able to create events across units that touch multiple units. You are able to, like I said, do reoccurring. Send reminders automatically to those that are associated with the event. And then here, and it's duplicated in Internet Advancement, you can filter based off of the different calendars that you want to see. And say you're a troop, a Cub Master that also is, say, I don't know, has a role like a Scoutmaster role in a troop. You can actually create an event in Scoutbook and also in Internet Advancement for both units. And so you don't have to create two at the same time. And one other feature that we have done in Internet Advancement is the ability to, after an event has happened, to go into that event and create activity logs. So the camping and the camping nights, and maybe there was a service activity, and have some of the information that is already associated with the event populate into that activity log, and you can use that all in one place rather than having to go to two different places. Right now, what Brian is showing is just essentially, where you would do a calendar event entry and create a calendar event. There's a neat feature. We have it over in Internet Advancement as well, and that is the ability to add the permission slip functionality. So, those can be downloaded by members within your unit. You can send emails to or reminders to, you can send a reminder if you've put an external guest immediately to those users that are out there that are associated with the event. So that if you've got, say, a mayor coming to your Cub Pack meeting or something like that, you can add them as an external guest. And so when the event is created, and if you send a reminder ASAP, that they're going to get that information as well. We're getting it in an advancement that they will be able to get scheduled reminders as well. So that's going to kind of be an enhancement. That's a lot there with the different calendar events. You can filter if you're a member of a lot of units, and see different, maybe only want to see one unit that you're associated with and kind of isolate that. So just want to make sure that folks are understand that that's available. Let's keep moving. The report builder manager, that's where we were talking about, there's a lot of functionality here. This is definitely a place to go and play, where you can build reports, do roster reports, get that information. But the one that I really, really want to go and highlight is the needs purchasing report. And that is where you can go and create we call it a PO, but I like to call it a shopping list. Okay. And so when you click that needs purchasing report, if you advance the slide, Brian, it will show all the rank advancement that has been earned and leader approved by your youth within your unit. And you can add that, we call it add to open PO. You can add that to your shopping list and then print that shopping list and take it to your scout shop. Now, what I do is I'll email that to the scout shop to make sure that they have all the items that I want as a part of my shopping list. So I don't get there and maybe it's after summer camp and there's no swimming merit badges available just because everybody is looking for swimming merit badge after summer camp got done. So that is something that's really important. And in addition, you can now do online ordering. So you can go and create that shopping list, and it gets you. There's a. I think this might be a little old, but there's a link up at the top to go and order from. It's a new feature. Order from the Scout shop online. Generally, that was not available to be done because those are restricted items. We want to make sure that the youth that are purchasing and those that are purchasing those advancements actually earned them. So all that verification is done, and you can go and order that online. But
That's
I would,
cool.
yeah, that's pretty cool. But I would definitely make sure to budget some time for shipping. This isn't something that you can go and say, all right, it's 2 days before the PAC meeting or the Court of Honor. Let's go order online. You're going to have to probably budget it some additional time to go and utilize that feature so you make sure that you get your advancement on time. So, but it is available. And it's really handy for those units that are might be in more remote areas and farther away from their local scout shop to get those advancement items. So that's been pretty well received by folks.
Very cool.
Just additional reports. Again, I'm not going to go into each one, but you can see individual advancement report. So you can see how an individual scout is advancing. Incomplete merit badges that might need to be completed, and talk to that scout to make sure that, hey, you got 7 open merit badges, maybe complete one here soon. It just, again, it is the whole purpose of the Scout Book is just to essentially promote the advancement, help that youth track their progress, help that leader track their progress as well, and keep them on the path on the scouting trail, to the highest rank that they can earn. And so this is next slide is again that feature assistant extension that I alluded to. And downloading that extension will give you some additional abilities, whether it be in the quick entry, sending messages just to those that RSVP, to sending messages to those that didn't RSVP maybe your event or something like that. Some features, and again, we are trying to incorporate all those feature extensions over into the internet advancement migration process. And that was done by a volunteer, and he is just absolutely fantastic. So I want to get a shout out to him because what he created there has been very helpful to units, but not a lot of units know about it. So make sure to go and check out the feature extension and what additional functionalities that brings to Scoutbook.
We just put the link for that extension in the comments, so you don't have to memorize it. You can click it right there.
So again, in conclusion, so I wanted to make sure that we had budgeted some time for some questions if we have some. I figure we probably will. Again, for Scoutbook help, going to those particular areas with the knowledge base and reviewing those places for tutorials on how to use the Scoutbook program. And then again, I can't stress enough that there are people wanting to go and assist you on the forums, and you'll probably find that the question that you're asking, has been asked before. So definitely search that out, and it's a great resource for unit leaders and parents.
Man, thank you, Ryan. That's a lot of great information. Again, a reminder, I say this sometimes, but it seems like especially helpful for this video. Tag someone in the comments who could benefit from watching today's show. These videos can be embedded on landing pages. You can link to them in emails to your fellow volunteers, parents. This seems like a really useful episode. We have just a couple questions. I want to get you answered most of them, honestly, as we went. TJ asks one, what happened with the Scoutbook calendar? Why is it closing in November and moving to the Internet Advancement calendar?
And again, that's because we're migrating all Scoutbook functionality over into Internet Advancement. And we're getting feedback from leaders that are using the Internet Advancement calendar and working on the items that they have brought up that need to be fixed. It's kind of great. The Scoutbook calendar hasn't gone away. So if something isn't working for you and you report that to the forums, I've got developers that are working on it right now to go and make sure that functionality exists and is working by the time we go and we take the Scoutbook calendar down. And again, it's very similar to like when you go and you want to go and update your profile, you're going over to Internet Advancement. And it's not that Scoutbook is going away, far from it. It's going to a platform that that is more current and will give us a lot of advantages, works better with our internal systems at the national office, and will be faster for folks. And actually, we'll be able to provide enhancements to that platform in a speedier fashion than we were able to do over on Scoutbook.
Yeah, when you said Internet Advancement, a lot of folks in the comments were like, yes, we like that platform. So that's a good sign. Also, our volunteers are so helpful. You guys have a lot of feedback for the calendar. I see a lot of people saying they love it, but also like, we wanted to do X, Y, and Z. Okay, Ryan has given you the perfect resource to help us develop these tools. Please go to the forums, comment there, get involved in the conversation. Your feedback is a gift. And also, it sounds like you've got to get that feature assistant extension if you don't have it, because it sounds like it's going to make, some functionality possible on that calendar that you wouldn't have otherwise. Again, we've got the links on the screen and in the comments as to where you can continue your Scoutbook education and feedback. Ryan, is there anything we've missed? Anything else you want to add?
The only thing that I would say is that our next item that we're going to be transitioning over is the rank advancement. So adventure recording, the merit badge recording. And I am quite confident that folks are going to be very, very, very pleased with the user interface that is going to be there that they can go and use over Scoutbook. So stay tuned for that. It is coming. It's being tested right now as I speak. And really, really looking forward to going announcing that change and that availability here soon. Thank you for all that you do for scouting, that doing the frontline work with the youth. It really, really matters. And I couldn't be more appreciative of the time that you're spending in scouting. It's time well spent. And thank you very much for all the work that you do.
That's a very important message. And Ryan, thanks for all that you do. Thank you for being on the show with us for Cub Chat Live this week. Be forewarned, now that you've done a live show with us, you're going to be asked probably to be on some far more ridiculous shows for, our Scout Life channel. So be prepared.
I think it's time to do a Bubblegum Part 2 podcast. I think that there was more there to that onion, and I think we could talk more about that.
That brings up two really important topics. The first one that actually really is important is that Cub Chat Live is now a podcast. So we take the audio of these shows, we put it on all your favorite podcast platforms. You can subscribe and listen in the car if you're not able to make a live stream. But secondly, if you're like, what is all this bubblegum talk that keeps happening in this Cub Chat Live? I am lost. Well, I highly recommend you go to that same favorite podcast platform where you listen to podcasts and look up Pod Ask. It's the Scout Life podcast. And it's fun. It's funny. So go back, listen to an episode, share it with your kids, share it with your unit, and come back and tell us what you think. Maybe we need to revive that. Okay, well, everybody, thank you for tuning in. This video will stay up after today's show ends, which will be in just a second here. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks for tuning in today. Be sure to catch next week's episode. Same time, same place. And let us know how we're doing at go.scoutingmagazine.org/rate-cubchat. We love feedback and ideas for new episodes. And you can visit blog.scoutingmagazine.org/cubchatlive for all our past video episodes. You can see us live. Except it's recorded, but it was live. Okay, see you next week.